The streets of Moscow are unusually tense tonight. Shadows move quietly outside the Ministry of Defense, while whispers ripple through the corridors of power. Russian soldiers, once the backbone of Vladimir Putin's war machine, are beginning to push back. Not against Ukraine this time, but against their own commanders. Defiance, disobedience, and even open rebellion are spreading through Russia's exhausted military ranks. Something is cracking inside the Kremlin, and it might change everything. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Conflict Front Stories channel. Please subscribe and like my videos so you never miss the latest updates and analysis on the ongoing conflict. Today, we're diving into one of the most shocking developments in recent months. Russian troops reportedly refusing to obey orders from the top, signaling a potential breakdown within Putin's own army. Let's start from the front lines. In eastern Ukraine, near the Donetsk region, multiple reports have emerged of Russian units refusing to advance despite direct orders. According to Ukrainian intelligence and intercepted communications, many Russian soldiers have grown tired of being sent into near-suicidal missions with little preparation, poor equipment, and no clear strategy. Some soldiers have even abandoned their positions, choosing captivity over continuing what they call a senseless war. Inside Russia, the frustration is growing louder. Families of soldiers, especially from poorer regions like Buryatia, Dagestan, and Siberia, are speaking out against the Kremlin's handling of the war. Mothers of missing or dead soldiers have begun to protest quietly online, sharing stories that challenge state propaganda. Their courage is inspiring more to question what's really happening on the battlefield. Behind the Kremlin walls, Putin's closest circle is feeling the heat. Several insiders have leaked that morale within the Russian Defense Ministry has hit an all-time low. Officers are reportedly divided between those who want to continue the war at all costs and those who secretly believe that it's unwinnable. This internal split is starting to show through strategic mistakes, conflicting statements, and even reshuffling of command posts in the middle of combat operations. On the exterior, the state-controlled media keeps insisting that everything is under control. But the truth is, cracks are widening fast. Videos from soldiers on the front lines are leaking through social media, despite strict censorship. In one widely shared clip, a group of Russian troops are seen confronting their superior officers, shouting that they refuse to be thrown into the meat grinder again. Their faces, tired and hollow, tell a story of despair that no propaganda can hide. Inside the Kremlin, Putin is furious. His response has been a mix of denial and punishment. Reports say that several officers accused of disobedience or cowardice have been detained. Some entire units have been disbanded or reassigned under new commanders loyal to the regime. But even fear has its limits. The more the government cracks down, the more resentment builds among those forced to fight. Let's take a step back and look at why this rebellion is happening now. The Russian military, stretched thin across multiple fronts, is facing a severe manpower and morale crisis. Thousands of casualties, poor medical care, and delayed payments have created deep anger among soldiers and their families. Promises of quick victory have turned into endless months of bloodshed. Many troops now believe that they are being sacrificed for political gain rather than for national defense. Meanwhile, Ukraine's counteroffensives are exposing just how vulnerable the Russian army has become. Every Ukrainian advance chips away not just at territory, but at the illusion of Kremlin control. Soldiers who once believed they were unbeatable are realizing that their leadership might have lied to them from the start. The psychological toll is immense. Some Russian troops now openly question whether their sacrifices have any meaning at all. In the interior, you can almost feel the tension building. Senior generals who were once Putin's loyal supporters are beginning to distance themselves from decisions that went wrong. Rumors swirl about quiet power struggles inside the defense ministry. Even state media hosts are showing cracks in their polished performances. sometimes hesitating before repeating official claims. It's as if everyone senses that the foundation of authority is shaking. Out on the front lines, the rebellion takes many forms. Some units simply slow down their operations or lose contact with headquarters for hours. Others stage small acts of defiance, refusing to fire on targets or sabotaging orders that would lead to mass casualties. These may seem like isolated incidents, but together they represent something much bigger, a collapse of trust within the Russian war machine. Western analysts have warned that if morale continues to fall, Russia could face large-scale mutinies similar to those seen in World War I. That historical echo haunts the Kremlin. In 1917, disillusioned soldiers helped trigger a revolution that toppled the Tsar. Today, while history doesn't repeat exactly, the pattern feels eerily familiar: long wars, high casualties, and growing disbelief in the leadership's narrative. Putin has built his rule on the image of absolute control, but that control depends on loyalty, and loyalty depends on belief. Once soldiers stop believing in their cause, the system begins to unravel from within. The rebellion isn't just on the battlefield, it's psychological, emotional, and moral. Each soldier who questions the war adds another crack in the Kremlin's wall of power. Even Russian military bloggers, once loyal mouthpieces of state propaganda, are turning critical. They post daily reports exposing logistical failures, poor planning, and shocking casualties. Some have openly called out Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu, accusing him of incompetence and corruption. These voices are influencing millions of Russians who no longer trust official news. In small towns across Russia, recruitment offices face increasing resistance. Men refuse to enlist, and draft officers are often met with anger or even threats. Videos of forced conscriptions have gone viral, sparking outrage. The government tries to hide these realities, but the digital age makes it impossible to silence them all. From the outside, Putin's speeches sound defiant as ever. He talks about total victory and national unity, but his eyes tell a different story, one of isolation and fear. Behind closed doors, sources suggest he's becoming more paranoid, relying on a shrinking circle of loyalists and security forces to maintain control. The more he tightens his grip, the more instability he creates. On the battlefield, Ukrainian advances continue to expose Russian weaknesses. Drone footage, intercepted calls, and captured soldiers all paint the same picture: confusion, disorganization, and fatigue. Some Russian troops have even switched sides, choosing to surrender rather than fight for what they no longer believe in. These moments are symbolic. They show that Putin's greatest threat might not come from NATO or Ukraine, but from his own army. Inside Russian society, the once unshakable aura of power around Putin is starting to fade. People whisper in markets, share forbidden news on messaging apps, and quietly express doubts. A sense of inevitability is spreading, that this war cannot end well. For the younger generation, especially those facing conscription, the rebellion feels like an act of survival. As cracks deepen, international observers are watching closely. Some predict that Putin will try to reassert control through brutal crackdowns, while others believe that his regime might already be too fractured to repair. What's clear is that fear alone can no longer hold a nation together forever. The soldiers' rebellion, small though it may seem now, represents the beginning of a wider awakening inside Russia. In every empire that collapses, the first sign isn't defeat on the battlefield, it's the loss of faith within the ranks. The Russian army, once proud and disciplined, is now questioning everything it was ordered to believe, and when soldiers stop following orders, leaders start to fall. As night settles over the Kremlin, the lights inside burn late. Meetings, arguments, and desperate phone calls fill the halls. Putin's generals scramble to keep control, but the truth is already out there. The army is no longer united, and fear can no longer mask reality. The question now isn't whether rebellion exists, it's how far it will spread and what it will mean for the future of Russia's leadership. Will Putin crush dissent with an iron fist, or will the fractures within his regime grow too deep to contain? Thank you for watching this detailed analysis on conflict front stories. If you found this video insightful, please subscribe, like, and share it to help more people understand what's really unfolding behind the scenes of Russia's war. The cracks in the Kremlin are widening, and history may soon remember this moment as the beginning of the end for Putin's grip on power. Stay tuned for more updates, and as always, stay informed and stay safe.